with the intent of making my dog walking business my main thing,
okay.
but then the pandemic happened and no one needed me to walk their dog, so I had to make a little switch. So I started trying to go full-time with my art and with my felt flowers, and it was received really well. I had a lot of support, so ever since 2020 this has been my full-time job.
Dipperstein and her business have now been featured at the Philadelphia Flower Show for 2 years and emphasizes the importance of growing your network in this business, as she describes the path to the flower show as a product of experience, word of mouth, and personal connection with friends, which explains one of her favorite aspects of the show.
My favorite part of the flower show is getting to meet so many people from all over the country, but also all over the world. Like I've met people from Denmark and Germany. There's people from Florida. I even met someone who was at I just talked to someone who was at my very first market that I did in Boston in 2017, like literally half an hour ago. They were like, wait, did you sell at like, I think it was like Wake Up the Earth in JP? I was like, yeah, in like 2017. And
That's so cool.
so it was really cool. So it's just like nice to catch up with people that you don't see all the time.
For those interested in supporting Dipperstein and her business Felt Up by Amelia, or seeing some examples of her thoughtful and beautiful work, she's available on Instagram, Etsy, and Gmail as Felt Up by Amelia. Stop and smell the roses. Listen to the Blooming Times all week on 107.7 The Bronx. Missed one of our reports this week? You can catch up on everything happening at the 2026 Philadelphia Flower Show, Rooted Origins of American Gardening, by listening to the Blooming Times on demand at 1077thebronx.com/The Blooming Times. Live from the PA Convention Center, I'm Aiden McGee.
That's today's Blooming Times report from the Philadelphia Flower Show, Rooted Origins of American Gardening. Huge thanks for hanging out with us. More behind-the-scenes moments and exclusive interviews are coming your way all week long right here on 1077 The Bronx. For more info and tickets, check out theflowershow.com. And don't forget, you can catch every report on demand at 1077thebronx.com/The Blooming Times. Now let's dig into the biggest hits and the best variety only on 1077 The Bronx. See you in the garden tomorrow.
1077 The Bronx and 1077thebronx.com, winner of 3 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Awards, Best On-Air Pledge Drive for our first ever Radiothon, Best Giveaway for Wake Up Riders Morning Bagel Run and Jewelry Spree, and Best Station Poster by Jake Goebel for Scream Screen. This is the Tri-State Sports Ramble. I am your host, John Coro. Thank you for tuning in on this lovely Friday night. Already episode number 6. Once again, a big shout out to Marcus leading me into the show. Always check out his show as well, a random after party 7 to 8 right before my show, so you can get 2 hours of great action right here by watching or listening, whatever you prefer. But we are ready to go. As I said before, my name is John Cora. Let me display that. There we go. All right, so we're going to start off a little bit. It was a crazy week. So we're going to start off with some NBA news around the league. Start off with the Knicks. Looking at a player like Miles McBride, he is recovering from injury and should be on track for the playoffs. Obviously a big loss no matter what. And having McBride ready for the playoffs should be key. And just for anybody who doesn't know, he had sports hernia surgery after the game on January 27th. I can't confirm the exact date it happened, but he got the surgery. But it was good regardless. And 6 to 8 weeks he was ruled out from that time. So you do the math, he should be ready to go by playoff time. But it's no guarantee. It's no guarantee. Anything can happen. But getting McBride back for the Knicks would be huge no matter what. He kind of reminds me of Mikal Bridges in a way. Always, maybe not necessarily coming through consistently throughout the game, but always coming in clutch no matter what, and you just love to see it. And he's the guy that, along with Bridges, that you need a basket, you'll get him. If your star player Jalen Brunson is struggling, he'll get it for you. OG Anunoby struggling, they'll get it for you. Cat, he'll get it for you, or they'll get it for you. I'm referring to McBride and Bridges, as I established. But a little bit of an opinion, though, I have to talk about with the Philadelphia 76ers. Back at the trade deadline, when they traded Jared McCain, I believe at this point that was a massive mistake. I said it at the beginning when it happened too, and not a lot of people believed that, but it was a massive mistake in my opinion. Yeah, it was just not that good, because in just 11 games, McCain has 3 performances with over 20 points. And, for everybody who paid attention to the 76ers last season, McCain, before he suffered that season-ending injury, he was untouchable. And McCain was just flowed very right with the 76ers, just meshed pretty well, didn't really let the pressure get to him, played with a lot of fun, sense of urgency involved with it as well, just high-intensity player. And I feel like they were letting the injuries define McCain who he was too much, too early in the, way too early in his career, no matter what. And I feel like they were pulling the trigger way too much, especially giving him up to the defending champions who are developing him even better. And like I said at the beginning when it happened, it was a big mistake, but who knows? And he's just playing. If you look at him playing for OKC, you thought he was playing freely on the 76ers. He is playing with more freedom on OKC than ever before. Maybe it's the fact that they're the defending champs and they're well on their way to try and repeat that title, but who knows? Diving into some NBA games that happened. Speaking of OKC, they took on the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday. It was just a high-stakes game coming in. A lot on the table. You're looking at a potential NBA Finals preview in 2026 later this year. But regardless, it was as close of a battle as you can imagine. Knicks dropped this game 103-100. Bit of a heartbreaker. And like I said, it's the defending champs versus a team who was 2 wins away from making it to the finals last year. Chet Holmgren with 28 points for OKC. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 26. Holmgren actually tied his career high with 6 3-pointers on the night. Knicks had a huge 40-point third quarter to erase what was once a 15-point lead for the Thunder. And then from there, it was on. It was back and forth. But a clutch 3 from SGA, regardless, would put OKC up, get some big insurance. Not a lot of fouls toward the end of the game based on the pacing, but the Thunder took a big lead regardless, and Knicks were down by 3. They were charging down the field on their last possession. Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby both missing game-tying threes on that drive, and were not able to force overtime, and as a result, drop the game. It was a really fun game to watch. I think personally the Knicks should feel pretty good even after the loss because they still demonstrated fight. They just need to improve the starts much better. And this game was reminiscent of what happened the week prior when the Knicks went to Cleveland. And it makes sense why the Cavs eventually blew them out because the Knicks didn't have that sense of urgency coming out of the first half, and they did the same thing that they've been doing all year. Rally back, make it a game. But you give up those points early, it's not going to work for you. It really isn't. And it's the 4th straight win for OKC. Knicks were on a 3-game streak, but they had it snapped with the loss. Knicks head coach Mike Brown actually got a technical foul in the first quarter, and actually when he was interviewed after the game, I forgot if it was after the game or the day after when thoughts were all recollected, but he specifically said that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does a great job convincing refs he gets hit. And if you're looking at the play, he kind of crashed into Jalen Brunson in the first quarter. Could have been called a foul on either side, but at the same time, he was just frustrated with the way the game laid out, with how his team played. And so it's just, at that point, it's just the emotions getting the best of you. I wouldn't necessarily say that SGA flops like LeBron James or anybody who's been in the league for quite some time, but who knows? Maybe he gets to that point in a year from now because after all, he is on the cover of NBA 2K, and he was one of the best postseason performance you will ever see last year. So who knows? He may get the LeBron treatment. He may not. As for past games for the Knicks, they won 127-98 at Milwaukee last Friday. The game was going on at the time. Won 114-89 against the Spurs on Sunday. 14-point night for Mohamed Jawara. I do not think he is a sleeper anymore. He's really making a name for himself. Really no longer a hidden gem. And of course, on Tuesday, they won 111-95 at Toronto. That was a lot of ones over there. 1-1-1-1. Let's just say 111-95 against the Raptors on Tuesday. There we go. But tonight, they will go to Denver for a matchup at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, taking on the Nuggets. So right as the conclusion of this show commences upon us, you may tune into MSG Networks to watch the Knicks take on Denver. Knicks coming into the game 40-23. They are third in the Eastern. Let's take a little bit trip up north to Brooklyn. Nets 15-47, 14th in the Eastern. I just laugh looking at that. But Nets are rebuilding, so it is to be expected. But had an interesting schedule this week. Played the Heat twice in a row at Miami both times. You don't really see that much with basketball. You see it in baseball plenty of times, but basketball not that common. Game 1 on Tuesday, Nets lost 124-98. Game 2, they lost 126-110. So relatively the same score. Actually, the exact same score if you think about it. 16 points exactly both times if you do the math. Oh no, I'm thinking that's 100. Point being, relatively similar score. But look at Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, continuing to have hot hands for Miami. As mentioned before, the Miami basketball team is called the Heat, so they're kind of matching with their hot hands, a little matchy. If you know, you know. But Michael Porter Jr., the first game didn't have a good game for Brooklyn at all. He did not have a good game. Missed all 9 3-point attempts and only went 3 for 17 with any shots he took in general. Just not a good game for MPJ, and it was bad. And that first game on Tuesday marked almost a month since Brooklyn has won consecutive games. It was just pretty bad in general. But game 2, they went to Miami. You would think the Nets would learn their lesson, but no, they did not. As I mentioned, they lost 126-110. Once again, solid games from Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Nets did have a lead briefly in the third, but gave up 66 points in the second half alone. Miami had a 20-point advantage just in their bench scoring in general. Porter Jr. did improve a lot better, though. 27 points on the night, but Nets with that game have lost 10 straight. Not looking too good. They are the 6th different team this year to have a losing streak, 10 games or above. That includes the Kings, Wizards, Pacers, Bulls, and Mavericks. Both teams were slightly shorthanded, though. Norman Powell out for Miami and Igor Denim for Brooklyn. Their past games, they lost 148-111 at Boston last Friday, lost 106-102 versus Cleveland on Sunday. Their next game is tomorrow at 6 p.m. They go back to Motown to take on the Detroit Pistons. I'm hoping for an upset here because the Pistons are the top team in the Eastern. It'll be cool to see if Brooklyn can get it done. But we're going to move on to the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia 76ers took on the Utah Jazz Wednesday. They were able to scrape out a 106-102 victory. And there was another injury report. Drum roll, please. Joel Embiid out once more with an oblique injury. Who could have saw that coming, everybody? But he continues. It's just you never want to see anybody get injured, but he's continuing to stay injury prone, and you can't have that. You cannot have that. And VJ Edgecombe was out with a bruised back as well. Paul George, keep in mind, he is still on a 25-game suspension. Doesn't have 25 games left. He's in the midst of it. He's actually expected to come back later this month. I believe it's on the 25th, if I'm not mistaken. 2 clutch free throws, though, by Quentin Grimes with 16 seconds left in the game. That's what kind of led the charge. He also had 16 points, coincidentally. Tyrese Maxey with 25 points. Jabari Walker with 22. Jazz have now dropped 7 games in a row. And no bueno. And it was no bueno. The Utah was playing the Wizards on Thursday. I have to see if Washington was able to beat the Jazz or if they were able to come out with a victory. Let's see. And it looks like Utah did beat Washington last night, 122-112. So the 7-game losing streak is over. That is the first time I am finding that out. So congratulations to Utah, I guess. But as for the past games for the 76ers, they lost 114-98 at Boston Sunday. They were crushed by the Spurs at home, 131-91 on Tuesday. 2 straight games that they couldn't hit triple digits. And they are at Atlanta tomorrow at 6 p.m. And so, just not good. Not good at all for the 76ers. You got to hit triple digits. You have to win a basketball game. Simple as that. It's very rare that you're going to win a basketball game and not hit triple digits in the NBA. So, you just got to get it done. And so, coming up short, it's been a bit of a problem for the 76ers, their inconsistent play. But yet again, if you don't have your star like Joel Embiid, that's going to happen, you know? Especially when Embiid is well out of injury and he's on his real prime playing, I guess if you could put it. But we are going to take a quick dive into some MLB news around the league. Talk about the Phillies real quick. Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford have really good shots to make the roster. They are highly anticipated rookies. Painter, a pitcher, Crawford, an outfielder. And the reason why Justin Crawford rings a huge bell for the Phillies is not just because of his athleticism and just his play overall, but because the projected starting center fielder Johan Rojas will no longer be playing in the World Baseball Classic for the Dominican Republic. Well, John, you just said Rojas is not playing for the DR. How does that concern Philly? Well, it does concern Philly because he just tested positive for PEDs, and if it's held up, he will miss 80 games. And if that's the case, it narrows the bench options between Brian De La Cruz and Dylan Moore. And if I'm Crawford looking at that, I'm licking my chops because De La Cruz and Moore aren't necessarily everyday players. Crawford may have the potential to be, but yet again, he's never played an MLB game. But I wouldn't be surprised on the flip side if they just give him a shot at it. After all, he does have to compete with Brandon Marsh. Marsh could move around potentially. Crawford could move around. Who knows? But regardless, the move by Rojas, like the stunt that he pulled, I guess for lack of a better term, could really make Crawford's life a little easier just for his path to go up. And, you know, talk about the Yankees a little bit. Spencer Jones looking really good during spring training so far, respectively, in the pinstripes. And his play style really good. I mean, the ball just flies off his bat. And, you know, for all my peeps down in Bridgewater, New Jersey, or around Somerset County that have went to the Somerset Patriots baseball stadium and have saw Spencer Jones rake, you are in for a treat when he comes to the Yankees. And he thrived during AAA. I know he'll be able to thrive at the big league level. And not to mention, you look at Spencer Jones' batting stance from the center field camera. He has a very similar swing to Shohei Ohtani. I don't know if it's just me, but he had that little step, that little outward hand extension, and then the toe drag. It's very interesting to see Spencer Jones do that. Maybe everybody has to hit like Shohei Ohtani, or at least lefties for that matter, to kind of replicate his style of play. We'll talk more about the Yankees and some of the Mets, but before that, we will take a quick break. Mark your calendars, because 107.7 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt is on its way. Join us on the Campus Mall on Tuesday, March 31st at 11 a.m. to experience the event the Bronx won Best Giveaway for at the 2025 IBS Media Awards. Do not forget, there are over 10,000 eggs, 20,000 pieces of candy, and a chance to win so many cool prizes, including our biggest and most iconic prize, a 3 or 4 night Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas, provided by Josh Harry Travel. For more details, including a list of other activities and bites to eat, go to 1077thebronx.com/egg hunt. We'll be back with more of the Tri-State Sports Ramble after these underwriting announcements on the Princeton Review's number 18 ranked best college radio station, 107.7 The Bronx.
Okay, it looks like we've landed on what the Earthlings call a college campus.
The mothership gave us voice changers. Turn yours on.
Excellent. Now we blend in with the humans. We just need clothing to become undetectable.
Our frequency spike was strongest near 107.7. The humans kept saying 107.7 The Bronx. Something about their general store where they get the coolest merch in the game and support the music and shows they love.
I don't quite know what that means. Try beaming over a cellular communication device. The humans are so attractive attracted to. There you can search for this fabled The Bronx General Store at 1077thebronx.com/shop-the-bronx.
Great Xanthaleer. Look at all they have to offer. Polos, hats, sweatshirts, drinking receptacles, shirts. So many colors, too. They even have tie-dye.
There are eco-friendly options. How noble of them. Order 2 of everything. We must support the Bronx. We'll be the talk of the galaxy with how fresh we look, as the humans say.
I wish we found 1077 The Bronx General Store 1,847 conquering quests ago. We would have looked so good.
Eggs. You like them, you love them, unless they make you fart, in which case you probably eat them anyway. They're a great source of protein, a breakfast staple, and an indicator on if the economy is good or not. But on March 31st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., eggs will have an entirely new meaning. It's 1077 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt. The winner of an Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Award for Best Station giveaway is back again. The Excellent Egg Hunt is an event that'll have you hopping with joy. With 10,000 eggs, 20,000 pieces of candy, and over $30,000 in prizes, the Excellent Egg Hunt has something for everyone. With food from some of the best food trucks in New Jersey, games, a petting zoo, prizes, and much, much more. Our grand prize winner will receive a 3 or 4 night Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas, courtesy of Josh Harry Travel, with other prizes including a 1.77 carat diamond pendant for Peroni's Hidden Treasures, hairstyling systems, and more. Want to learn more? Go to 1077thebronx.com/egg hunt, and we'll see you there. Because if you don't go, I'm about to win that cruise, and I don't know.
Beware of the invisible intruder, naturally occurring radon gas. This sneaky threat could be hiding in your home right now, undetected. It's invisible, odorless, tasteless, and the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States, claiming up to 21,000 lives each year. Could you be at risk? Radon might be creeping into your home through cracks, gaps around pipes, sump pits, or even your well water. Prolonged exposure can significantly increase your risk of lung cancer. Act now, don't wait. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's Radon section has your back. We provide free resources and expert advice to keep your home radon-free. Visit radon.nj.gov for details on testing and radon mitigation solutions. Safeguard your family. Tackle potential radon exposure now. radon.nj.gov. Proudly sponsored by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection.
It has finally happened. The planets have aligned in a way we have never expected. The 4 corners of the universe begin to sing together as one. All 4 major sports are playing at the same time.
Wait, what?
You heard me. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey, all at the same time.
This is a lot to take in.
But it doesn't have to be. That's why 1077 The Bronx is streamlining the process so you don't have to scramble. It's time for Equinox 2.0. Matty Ice, the Big C, and Gavin Hawks will be bringing the 4 corners into one.
That sounds like a big task.
That's why only the most qualified are on the job. Every Saturday at 2 p.m., Matt, Carl, and Gavin will talk about everything happening in these sports, from the regular season to the playoffs to the championship games each league. Underwritten by Royal Touch Cleaning and CMC Energy, Equinox 2.0 does what no other can. If you ever miss an episode or need to know more, go to 1077thebronx.com/equinox to get everything you could ever need.
1077 The Bronx campus traditions are underwritten in part by Sky Zone, 17 Quaker Bridge Plaza Drive in Hamilton. Take fun to a whole new level and reach new heights at Sky Zone, Hamilton's ultimate hub for adventure. You've worked hard enough already this semester, so ditch the endless assignments and head to Sky Zone to treat yourself. Take a day off and jump, slide, or fly to your heart's content with friends and family. Bring the speed on Sky Zone's Ninja Warrior style obstacle courses, test your persistence climbing up rock walls, and challenge your competition at Sky Zone's ultimate dodgeball tournaments and air court games. Haven't had enough fun yet? Then zip through the air on Sky Zone's all-new indoor zip line and launch into the sky with their 2 new mega slides. Turn a stressful work-filled day and defy gravity by soaring the skies. Whether it's a birthday party, team event, or a one-day ticket to defy the limits, the fun starts on their website at skyzone.com/Hamilton. That's skyzone.com/Hamilton.
1077 The Bronx Scream Screen is underwritten by Advance Auto Parts. This is how we advance. Advance Auto Parts is in your neighborhood at 2520 Brunswick Pike in Lawrenceville. Visit Advance for one-time shopping, thousands of products, and expert help to get you back on the road in no time. Plus, take advantage of their free services including battery testing and installation, check engine light testing, and wiper blade installation. Advance Auto Parts, right around the corner and ready to help. Shop today at 2520 Brunswick Pike, Lawrenceville.
This is how we advance.
It's a new year, and NJ Back wants to remind small business owners that we're here with free, reliable help about growing your business. From registration and certification to funding programs or exporting, NJ Back, the New Jersey Business Action Center, a division of the Department of State, is ready to help you find answers to questions and solutions to problems. Use our live chat on business.nj.gov for free, confidential assistance designed to help our diverse business community. Chat with NJ Back today at business.nj.gov. Sponsored by the New Jersey Business Action Center.
1077 The Bronx has very exciting news. Our new video stream is officially live. Now you can listen to The Bronx on air, online, and on app. Now watch your favorite student shows live on The Bronx YouTube channel and at Facebook at 1077 The Bronx, including Bronx After Hours, the Tri-State Sports Ramble, as some of you may be doing now, High Stakes, The Journey Across the Sports World, Cliff Notes, and now Wake Up Rider. Keep it tuned to The Bronx to listen to and also watch your favorite student shows now and in the future. Welcome back to the Tri-State Sports Ramble on your 5-time National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominated station 1077 The Bronx. I am your host, John Coro. Thank you once again for tuning in. We'll be talking a little bit more about just the World Baseball Classic going on today. A little brief discussion, though, with the Mets. Some rumors spiraling around Jared Duran potentially coming to the team. If they'll die down, they'll die down. But honestly, if Duran does come over to the Mets, it's a long shot, no doubt, because I know the Red Sox would definitely want to keep him. But if they do manage to get it done, that would be a stacked Mets outfield, without a doubt. But without further ado, we'll dive into the World Baseball Classic, which officially started yesterday. Life is good. World Baseball Classic is good. All good right now. Man, it's insane. It's pretty good. It's time, man. It's time. I said it last week that we'd be talking about the World Baseball Classic in a more wider manner, a more just like how we did with the Olympics last week with hockey and the weeks before. So that's how we're doing it. So we're going to start off with Japan taking on Taiwan. It was a 5 a.m. game Eastern time. Woo, you had to wake up to try and watch that, or pull an all-nighter. Who knows? But Japan with a huge 13-0 win against Tokyo. It was a 9-run second inning, including a grand slam by Shohei Ohtani. Each of Japan's pitchers got an inning or two of work. Wasn't really that crazy in that category. Cuba taking on Panama. Cuba with a 3-1 win in San Juan, Puerto Rico. 2-run bomb from Yoan Moncada from the right side of the plate would simply lead the way. Netherlands taking on Venezuela. Venezuela got a 6-2 win in Miami inside Lone Depot Park. Javier Sanoa with an early go-ahead home run in the second. Reason why this was so significant was because Sanoa currently plays for the Miami Marlins, and of course the game was inside Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. So he had a lot of locals watching, and so it was definitely cool to see. It was a 3-run fifth inning, highlighted by a bases-loaded walk and a 2-run single from Wilson Contreras. Like taking a look at Mexico against Great Britain. Mexico with an 8-2 win over the Great Britain in Houston. I almost said 8-2 over Houston. That would not make sense. That's the World Baseball Classic. But exchange bombs were made from Nacho Alvarez and Harry Ford. But then in the 8th inning, 1-1 tie, Jonathan Aranda with a clutch opposite field 3-run blast. Mexico would score 3 more in the 9th. And you know, a lot of people may look at Jonathan Aranda as the all-star first baseman that was on the Tampa Bay Rays. You know who I look at him as? I look at him as the guy that Aaron Boone horrendously picked for the swing-off home run derby last year. I still don't know why he made that decision. I still don't know why. I think maybe it was just to get his name on the spotlight, really give him a shot. But Boone, come on, man. What are we thinking? If that doesn't define his managerial career, I don't know what does. But Puerto Rico currently taking on Colombia at the moment. I have to look up to see how they are doing right now. And let's see. Obviously a huge game, high stake in front of us today. And also USA taking on Great Britain, or excuse me, Brazil. I made the mistake there. But again, huge games going on. Huge games going on, and you just love to see it, especially if you're in one of the big host cities. It's great to see. And by the way, I just got the score update. Puerto Rico leading 5-0 over Colombia, bottom of the 8th. Nicaragua tied up with the DR, 3-3, top half of inning number 4. USA with a 2-1 lead over Brazil, bottom of the first inning. So we may see ourselves a little bit of a score fest here, but a little too early to tell. Getting a little ahead of myself here. Logan Webb getting to start for Team USA. Later today, though, at 10 p.m., Taiwan taking on the Czech Republic in Tokyo, Japan. That's pretty much it for the World Baseball Classic at the moment. Dive a little bit into spring training, just a little bit. Phillies were at the Pirates earlier today. Talk about a slugfest. Now that we're on the subject, Phillies with a 14-10 win over the Pirates. They'll face off against Toronto tomorrow at 1:05 p.m. As for the Mets, they defeated Washington yesterday, or excuse me, they lost against Washington yesterday 7-4. I meant to say they made the trip to the Nationals ballpark in down South Florida, spring training facility to be exact. They are currently at Miami tonight. Yankees faced off against the Twins yesterday and lost by a blowout, to say the least, 15-0. And they didn't even play the full 9 innings due to the rain. And so the Twins maybe could have tacked on a 20 spot. But it is spring training. Let that get out of the way now. But I don't want to see it during the regular season. They are currently taking on the Rays tonight at George Steinbrenner Field. Now it's time to move on to some NHL news and scores. We got to talk about the trade deadline first. It ended at 3 p.m. earlier today. Just some first takes before I get into the actual trades. I thought the Devils would sell a little bit more. I'm surprised to see that Vincent Trocheck hasn't gone yet, and I'm also surprised to see that Rasmus Ristolainen hasn't gone yet. 2 players that I touched on from the Rangers and the Flyers a couple weeks prior. But into the actual trades, New York Islanders making some huge, well, I wouldn't say huge moves, but making some notable moves to say the least. Just hours before the trade deadline happened, they have acquired Blues center and captain Braden Shen in exchange. Now, the players that I say in exchange for, I'll progressively display my reaction. Jonathan Drouin, that's good. We had to get rid of Drouin. He was not doing anything. And I thought personally it was a little disrespectful that Drouin was carrying Brock Nelson's number 29 and putting up that bad of a performance. So Drouin's out. Rookie prospect Marcus Gildoff, who is also a goaltender. Who knows? I'm kind of on the fence for that one. But at the same time, you have to give a little to get a little. They weren't going to take Drouin for Shen straight up. But this is where it gets crazy. You're giving up a first rounder and a third rounder for this year's summer draft. I don't know what the move is over here. I don't know what Darche is thinking. Braden Shen only has 28 points this year. I mean, talk about rolling the dice. I mean, Shen had out, man. I mean, that's insane. And, you know, you look at a guy like the other minor acquisitions, getting Carson Soucy from the Rangers. He's a defenseman. He's not Matthew Schaefer, but he at least can defend. Andre Palat scored 1 goal in his first game as an Islander and just decided to dip. You hope it's not a similar situation with Palat with Braden Shen. But who knows? Maybe he'll pan out like crazy. He'll take a huge step up. We've seen Braden Shen really have big spurts of success when the time was right. And so he's led the Blues to several key moments. He was a part of that 2019 Stanley Cup champion team. He wasn't a captain at the time. I believe it was Ryan O'Reilly. No, I actually called myself out there. Alex Pietrangelo was a captain. Man, 2019. Time flies, man. Time flies. That was a fun team to watch, the St. Louis Blues. But we're sticking with Tri-State Sports because that's what we're rambling about. See what I did there? Islanders were also thinking about getting Tyler Myers, but the Stars got there first. The same thing went with Connor Garland as he went to Columbus eventually, just missing out. They were just targeting the wrong player. But we did target the right player in getting an extension. Jean-Gabriel Pageau extended for 3 more years at a $4.85 million contract. Of course, it starts in the 2026-27 season. At the 2020 trade deadline, very interestingly enough, just weeks before the COVID pandemic hit, Pageau was traded from Ottawa to the Isles and immediately signed a 5-year contract right on the spot. This year, he's really been a face-off warrior and often on the penalty kill. Actually has more goals than Shen, believe it or not. 14 for JG, and Shen only with 12. I think this was a necessary move. I think Pageau's offensive production has definitely taken a big toll, but he's too valuable of a penalty killer and just a face-off warrior, like I said. Too much of a specialty player to get rid of. And that specialty player initially was Casey Cizikas about a few years ago. But looking at Cizikas today, he just is far from the same player. He really is. And JG Pageau is really filling his footsteps pretty well in that manner. And yeah, just Pageau's just been stepping up his game. And like I said, he may not put the puck in the net as much as we would have liked to see him, or as Islander fans would have liked to see him do. But he's a guy that I think is too valuable to trade. Way too valuable. And a lot of people look at NHL players about how their value goes up with the amount of points they get. Pageau doesn't get as much points as you want, but he's just too valuable in specialties. And so that's why I think that was a good move by Darche to keep. I don't think that will backfire. Braden Shen probably will. Or probably not. Only time will tell. But anyways, moving on to the Flyers. Earlier today, Bobby Brink was traded to the Minnesota Wild in exchange for defenseman David Jiricek. Brink set a career high of 41 points last season, and Jiricek, not that much different from Minnesota, just 13 points in 84 NHL games. This is really a fourth line swap, pretty much. Well, Jiricek defenders can't necessarily play the fourth line. They're really third defensive pairing, fourth line swap. You get the deal. Little bit, though, about the New York Rangers. JT Miller recently placed on the injured reserve with an upper body injury. Actually dealt with one earlier this season, but this is a little bit different. He was actually hit by a puck in the back of his head and neck area. That's got to hurt. But he still finished the game, and by game, I mean this past Tuesday when the Rangers almost came back down 4-0 against Columbus, but lost 5-4 in overtime. Has to be out for a minimum of 7 days just by league guidelines, league rules. And notably this year, 3 overtime winners. One was at Edmonton, one was home against Montreal, and one was at St. Louis, which we mentioned quite a lot so far in this show, even though we talk about Tri-State sports. But another prospect, Brennan Othman, was traded to the Calgary Flames. They're getting another prospect in return. They've also claimed Ty Cartier off of waivers from Seattle. This is interesting. He's only got 8 points through 41 games, and he's a good piece for the penalty kill. However, he reminds me of Cizikas, like I said, on the Isles from 2018 to 2021. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Rangers rebuild. I think a lot of people are dismissing this move made by the front office. Cartier could really break through. Will he be a part of the Rangers squad when they get good again? Maybe, but I think he's a good young player to really be part of that rebuild. Mateusz Malofsky from Utica, signing a 2-year entry-level contract with the New Jersey Devils. And, of course, like Pageau, that'll start in the 2026-27 season. And he led all rookies in he led all rookies in the AHL with 52 assists in 2022 with Quebec in the Junior Hockey League. Actually helped Czech win a bronze medal in 2024 during that said World Juniors Championship. We'll talk a little bit about NHL scores. We might have to go to commercial real quick in between, but we'll continue on as we go. Speaking of the New Jersey Devils, they are 31-29-2, 7th in the Metro. They took on the Maple Leafs Wednesday and won 4-3 in a shootout. That's actually their third win in a row. Each team scored once in all 3 periods, hence a 3-3 tie. Michelli for Toronto was answered by Timo Meier in the first, Arseny Gritiak answering it in the second, and then, of course, Connor Brown with the game-tying goal, 2:21 to go in regulation. Nothing really happened in overtime, but in the shootout, Paul Cotter and Jesper Bratt with just pure filth of goals. I mean, chef's kiss. Their extra time play, and when I say extra time play, I'm referring to the New Jersey Devils as a team. That's been fantastic besides the rest of the season. They've only had 2 losses in an overtime or a shootout up to this point. Just 2. And the fact that they're 7th in the Metro, that's very, very interesting. Devils team is pretty weird this year. I talked a lot about the New York Rangers already, but we'll talk about them in terms of their last game. 24, 29, and 8, they are last in the Metro, but last night against the Maple Leafs, they won 6-2, and the significance of this game is pretty big because this was their first home regulation win since November 24th. You heard that correctly, everybody. First home regulation win since November 24th. Since that infamous day, they've actually lost 13 of their next 18 games right at MSG, with wins only coming in overtime or the shootout. All fans said, "Here we go again," when Toronto just scored 13 seconds into the game. I even said to myself, I'm not even a Rangers fan. New York did tie it up, though. Same thing happened in the second, and so it was a 2-2 tie going into the third. Rangers put up a 4-spot. Lafreniere getting it started, and then Yaroslav Himalosh. You could tell he's a rookie because I'm having trouble pronouncing his name, but Yaroslav Himalosh with an unassisted goal for his first in the NHL. Looking at some past games, Rangers won 3-2 in a shootout Saturday against the Penguins, lost 5-4 in overtime against Columbus. They almost came back down 4-0. That was a heartbreaking loss, and I tuned into that game just because I didn't have anything else to do. And I thought it was pretty much over. Blue Jackets up 4-0, and Rangers scored 2 quick ones inside the first minute. They come all the way back. Would have been insane if they won in overtime, but Blue Jackets just had to win, didn't they? But next game for the Rangers and the Devils is, Saturday at 3 p.m. Oh, I wonder why. Because they're playing each other at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. So should expect a lot of Ranger fans to invade Newark, New Jersey. A lot of blue appears in the stands pretty much every time the Rangers go there. You've seen that a lot with the Islanders these past couple of years too, but that's for a different story. We'll talk about the Flyers and then some NFL action. But before we do that, we will head to commercial one final time. If you build it, our Rider Bronx will devour it. Introducing the contest that will cement your legacy at Rider University forever. Announcing 1077 The Bronx first ever Build the Ultimate Bronkwich competition. Be the Bronc who creates Rider's new signature sandwich to be served at Muller's Pub and on the Yo Cuz Yellow Food Trailer, and we'll send you and a guest on a Royal Caribbean for 2 to the Bahamas from Josh Harry Travel. However you slice it, this contest eats Bronx. So go to 1077thebronc.com/buildabronkwich for complete details and how you can enter to win. We'll be back with more of the Tri-State Sports Ramble after these underwriting announcements on your 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner. That's us, 1077 The Bronc.
Oh, it's so hot. I'm so hungry. I could really go for a sandwich. Ow, my head! Build the ultimate Bronkwich? Rider University's new signature sandwich? Yeah, I could go for that. Wait, we have to make it? We have to make it and name it?
Yeah.
Who are you? How did you find me?
You're crawling around on the beach, dude. You've been here for like 2 hours max. Whatever. All you have to do is enter a sandwich recipe and make an Instagram reel to tell us why you believe you created the ultimate Bronkwich.
That sounds like too much work. What's even the point?
If you get first place, the prize is a Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas, courtesy of Josh Harry Travel, the Yo Cuz food truck at your next on-campus event for 1 hour, and of course, your sandwich served at Muller's Pub and at the Yo Cuz food trailer's catered events.
I could use a cruise.
Couldn't we all? But you could be in the running for the 3 finalists who compete on April 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You have from now to April 5th to enter. For all the other information, go to 1077thebronc.com/buildabronkwich and maybe you could win it.
Wake Up Riders' morning bagel run and jewelry spree on 107.7 The Bronx is underwritten in part by Peroni's Hidden Treasures in the University Plaza Shopping Center, 108 Flock Road, Mercerville, next to Caesar's Bagels and Deli.
Ugh, I can't find anything to elevate my outfit. No matter what, it always looks boring. I need something that'll make it stand out and feel like me. Let's see what's around. Oh, Peroni's Hidden Treasure sells permanent jewelry. That's perfect. I won't have to stress about choosing a new accessory every day. Plus, they have an engraving machine that can personalize almost anything. Imagine making keepsakes for my friends at Rider or student club in Org and even Greek life. Maybe I'll get something to remember my senior year at Rider University. I didn't even know there was a place like this just 10 minutes away from campus. I literally can stop by their store all the time, anytime before and after classes for bracelets, rings, and necklaces.
Whether it's jewelry, gifts, or just something that makes the outfit finally feel complete, Peroni's Hidden Treasures has it. Learn more at peronishidden-treasures.com.
107.7 The Bronx campus traditions are underwritten in part by SGA, Rider University Student Government Association.
Hello?
Hi, SGA spring elections are now open, and as a member of the student body, we're asking all Bronx to cast their vote.
Lead by example and vote for our new SGA board, who will take charge in guiding the Rider community. All positions are officially open for you to apply. These positions include student body president, college senator, vice president for class connections, among so many others. SGA spring elections are the perfect opportunity to get involved with the Rider community and advocating what's best for your fellow Bronx. Voting opens March 23rd and closes April 8th to vote for your next leaders for the 2026 to 27 academic year. Start your application and keep an eye out for emails to stay up to date with deadlines and other important dates. Need more information? The SGA Bronx Nation page has all the answers you need, including how to participate, stay informed, and get involved.
Can we count on your vote?
Yes.
The Bronx Lunchbox on 107.7 The Bronx and other programming on 107.7 The Bronx. Retro is underwritten by Osteria Procaccini in Pennington and Crosswicks. Osteria Procaccini takes your taste buds on a roller coaster. Step inside Osteria Procaccini to experience a loving and sustainable restaurant. Try their refreshing, jam-packed, flavorful salads, or take a nice long look at their artisan pizza menu. Each artisan pizza is made with vegan dough and is paired with a crust that is charred to perfection to replicate a true and authentic crunch. Osteria is more than artisan pizzas. It's an exceptional dining experience. Their fire-roasted entrees are to die for, roasted in a 900-degree Pompeii-style terracotta brick hearth. Choose from a classic chicken parmesan, an Osteria burger, eggplant parmesan, and more. Outside of their grand assortment of lunch and dinner options, Osteria Procaccini offers a coffee bar. Grab an Americano, a latte, espresso, or any of their other coffee options after dinner. Visit one of their 2 locations in Pennington and Crosswicks, or see what they have in store for your palate online at getforky.com.
This is your Rider News Roundup. This is your Rider News Roundup.
And this is your Rider News Roundup.
On Saturdays at 11 a.m., you can get the views behind the news from the pages of the Rider News. The Rider News and 107.7 The Bronx present the Rider News Roundup, the podcast. Hosted by Caroline Havland, Grace Bertrand, and Ben Chenault, the Rider News Roundup, the podcast, is your weekly window into the Rider world. New episodes of the Rider News Roundup, the podcast, debut the 2nd and 4th Saturday of every month at 11 a.m. Know what's going on and how everything at Rider affects you. Be on the lookout for new episodes twice a month. Make sure to get your news from the Rider News online at theridernews.com. And tune in to the Rider News Roundup, the podcast, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 107.7 The Bronx. Go to 1077thebronx.com/Rider News Roundup to learn more information.
The Friends of a Feather Foundation was created in honor of Barbara DiLorenzo. A caring wife and mother of 4, Barbara was often described as a light in people's life, and that light would always shine through her children. At the age of 57, Barbara was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and fought her cancer for 3 years. Despite her diagnosis, Barbara maintained the light, and people never saw her sparkling smile fade away. In March of 2022, Barbara passed away. In her memory, Friends of a Feather was brought to life to bring support, happiness, pleasure, and reassurance to families that have children fighting cancer. Help Friends of a Feather to provide comfort, smiles, and a sense of empowerment to pediatric patients with Barb's Bags of Hope. Within the contents of these personalized care packages may be a blanket or a warmie, a parent and patient journal, a variety of different games for the child and parent to play, a $50 DoorDash gift card, and more. Every donation may made goes to creating a bag of hope, to give each child who receives one the courage, confidence, and hope to beat their cancer diagnosis. Go to friendsofafeather.org to give a child a Barb's bag of hope. That's friendsofafeather.org.
There is so much happening this spring at 107.7 The Bronx, which means there's a lot of behind-the-scenes content to be seen, such as funny reels, station highlights, and sponsored trips, plus exclusive moments. They're just a few of the reasons why you should engage with The Bronx on social media. So keep up with The Bronx. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at 107.7 The Bronx, on TikTok at 107.7 The Bronx WRRC, and even on Facebook at 107.7 The Bronx to see what we're up to on and off the air. Welcome back to the Tri-State Sports Ramble on your 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominated college radio station, 107.7 The Bronx. One final time, I am your host, John Coro. We'll continue on a little bit with what's been going on in the Tri-State area of the NHL. Moving on to the Flyers, 28, 22, and 11. They are 6th in the Metro. Faced off against the Utah Mammoth last night, and they got shut out 3-0 at Xfinity Mobile Arena. Mammoth goaltender Vitek Vanacek with his 100th career win, and it was only fitting that it was a shutout. It was also his first shutout of the year. Flyers did not have Konechny in the lineup from injury, and the result honestly showed why they needed him. And he's one of their best players offensively, but one of the few bright spots of a season that's been very, very inconsistent. For their past games this week, they won 3-1 against the Bruins this past Saturday and actually beat Toronto 3-2 in a shootout at Scotiabank Arena on Monday night. Their next matchup is tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. They will go to Pittsburgh and take on the Pens at PPG Paints Arena. Now moving on to the Islanders. They are 35, 23, and 5, third in the Metropolitan Division. They were at the LA Kings last night. They lost 5-3. The story of this game was early on, actually less than 4 minutes into the game. Why? Well, it's only because Artemi Panarin scored his first goal as an LA King. Ranger fans, I'm sorry that I have to tell you this, but yes, Panarin got his first goal as an LA King. Isles did fall behind 3-0 in the second, but Bo Horvat with a buzzer beater right off the faceoff, right at the end of the second period, literally with 1 second remaining. It was as quick of a shot as you can imagine. The puck was dropped with 1 second left, and Horvat was still able to make it work. From there, the Islanders did show a sense of urgency. Adam Pelech even got himself a shorthanded goal, but ultimately the Kings were the better team and won. These two teams will face again a week from tonight on Friday the 13th next week. So the game will be happening during our next show because it's going to be a 7 p.m. game at UBS Arena. By the time our show ends next week, it'll probably be around the second to third period. Islanders this past Saturday won 4-3 in overtime at Columbus. What a game that was. Won 5-4 against the Panthers Sunday. Two big games, that clutch goals by Simon Holmstrom at Columbus and Anders Lee on Sunday. And of course, Matthew Schaefer just doing Matthew Schaefer things. But unfortunately, they lost 5-1 at Anaheim on Wednesday and have recently given up another 5 goals this past game at LA, as I mentioned. So defense kind of took a bit of a toll, but they'll look to get revenge tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time when they go to San Jose and take on the Sharks. We got about 4 minutes left, so we'll talk real quickly about what's been going on in the NFL. Giants linebacker Bobby O'Kirk was just recently released. It was part of the Giants' plan to cut players for the salary cap. The move itself will free up $9 million. He was actually entering the final year of a 4-year, $40 million contract he signed. And honestly, the Giants are likely redoing their entire linebacking staff. Micah McFadden coming off of foot surgery, and he's set to become a free agent. Giants also have their eyes on Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. And O'Kirk really did a lot for this Giants defense, and his loss will definitely be known throughout the locker room because he carried a team that almost had nothing at that point. A surprising move, though, by the Giants was the restructure of Devin Singletary's contract. A lot of people were expecting that he was going to get cut, but has a good relationship with new head coach John Harbaugh. I kind of feel bad for Singletary because he lost his running back job 2 years in a row. First to Tyrone Tracy in 2024, and then second to the one, the only, Cam Scatterbo. I can't wait to see him play again next year, and I'm not even a Giants fan. he did take over well after Scadaboo's season-ending injury. Giants may not want to completely overhaul like it was projected to be going into the winter meetings, or should I say the summer meetings. I'm still on baseball mode. Winter meetings, summer meetings. There's too many meetings. But moving on to a little bit to the New York Jets. Breece Hall recently franchise tagged. They just could not agree on a long-term deal, and since the deal could not be made, Hall will play next season on a $14.3 million contract. Had a career year last year, over 1,000 rushing yards, but I think personally Hall does not like the decision. I think he's indirectly stated that Hall just wants out, and they basically trap him for another year, unless he leaves at the trade deadline. But there's also some growing interest in recently released Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray potentially taking over for the Jets in the long term. Who knows? And Aaron Glenn has previous connections with them as a player. You got to keep in mind, Glenn, it's a huge advantage for a young coach like Aaron Glenn to play with players that aren't necessarily young, but at least know them from just being in the league for so long. And so besides Murray, though, you also got Carson Wentz and Jacoby Brissett entering the picture for the Jets. A lot of people are not so fond on Wentz, me neither, and it'll be interesting to see if they actually do commit to one of them. Finally, last but not least, Eagles are drawing interest at Browns tight end David Njoku. It would finally give Njoku a solid quarterback to work with if they do make this move go through. After all, he's been stuck with Cleveland for 9 years now, and the closer we get to free agency, it seems like more likely Dallas Goedert will be leaving the Philadelphia Eagles. Njoku did announce last year that he will not play for the Browns anymore, so somebody's going to pick him up. No matter what, whether it's the Eagles or a different team, and he's a valuable player. He'll land a job next season without a doubt. It is 8:59 p.m. We are just about to wrap things up here tonight. Thank you for listening to the Tri-State Sports Ramble. We'll be back next Friday, March 13th from 8 to 9 p.m. I can't believe it. We managed to get 2 Friday the 13th shows in consecutive months. This is awesome. Regardless, stay tuned for more of the biggest hits and best variety on the Princeton Review's number 18 Best College Radio Station, 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner, and 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 1077 The Bronc and 1077thebronc.com.
From Rider University in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, this is 1077 The Bronc, WRRC-FM.
5-time Marconi Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, and proud to be nominated again